Okay, welcome everyone to Beyond the Woodline. I am the host, Joe DeHoyos, and I have my lovely and talented co-host, Miss Shannon Rogers. How you doing, Shannon?
I'm good, just fighting that mountain cedar, but I'm good.
Your nose is either running or you're falling, one or the
I
other.
know. It's my MO.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone who joins the chat, you have to give StreamYard permission to use your name, otherwise it just says Facebook user. So if you can, there's gotta be something on there. So whoever you are, hello, thank you for joining.
Hello.
And what you been up to, Shannon?
Oh, just booking stuff and trying to make event pages. I'm starting my own company that's gonna be coming out soon. I'm getting all the LLC and everything started for that, but just having fun really and getting ready to go to Montana at the end of the month because we rescheduled the Dumas Brothel event that we were doing. So, and then Conjuring House, we're about to come out with that event flyer. So,
Okay, cool.
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Well, today we have a special guest with us. And hi, Angie. How you doing? We have a special guest, Mr. Steve Brooks. How you doing, Mr. Steve?
I'm doing fine, Joe.
What you been up to?
All trying to stay warm as always. Of course, it's warm down your way, so
Yeah, yeah. It was a little chilly this morning, but yeah, it warmed up pretty good. Uh, actually went out uh, to do a little investigation, little research. Had a gentleman contact us. He had an encounter out there, and it was actually a pretty scary encounter. Um, But if you guys want to hear that, you have to go to Will Jevney because some of you guys may or may not know I'm actually the executive director for the Jevney Research Group, the JRG Bigfoot Research Group. It's on Facebook. I always have to give Mr. Will a shout out because he's such a good guy. But that's who I belong with as far as my Bigfoot stuff goes, and that's who when I'm out in the field, that's what I'm doing, or whose flag I'm flying under, I guess you could say. So yeah, if you want to hear that encounter, I think I'll have it posted later on today or maybe tomorrow. But it's a pretty good encounter, pretty scary, and I got to meet the guy, and he's pretty shook. He's pretty shook. I will say this: we had a squirrel run out in front of us, and he freaked out a little bit. It was pretty good. He's a good sport, good guy. But yeah, Mr. Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
well, I grew up in East Texas, around Longview, Texas, uh, and and of course from there I went to Oklahoma. Of course, I spent 5 years in the military between that. Um, and then I was in Oklahoma for about 21, 2 years, and then I met this nice, nice lady, and in Missouri, and so I moved to Missouri, and the rest is history.
There you go. Women always do that to us, don't they?
It's beautiful up there, though.
Hey, thanks for your service. I think I vaguely remember you being in telling me before that you were in the service. Yes, thanks for your service. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
What got you into the Bigfoot field?
uh, I'm just I sometimes I call me a researcher, sometimes I just call me an enthusiast, but but I've been probably around Bigfoots from probably about 10 years old to now.
Okay. Was
So,
there anything that?
off and on. Of course, naturally in Oklahoma, I worked a lot and I wasn't able to get out as much. When you're working 6, 7 days a week, it's hard to work in Bigfoot.
I understand that.
Was there anything
So, but
specifically that happened that got you interested, or was it just something that kind of drew your attention?
Well, the first time I spotted uh, a Bigfoot was, like I was telling you earlier, down south of Livingston, Texas, uh, at the Alabama Coshado tribe ceremony, and of course back then it was like like you described. It's very thick and bushy and so forth. You pretty much have, in a lot of areas, you pretty much have to have a machete to get through some of the areas. And well, of course, I was like I said, 10 years old, uh, curious about everything. Well, I was in a circle that was doing their tribal dances, teaching people how to do it and stuff like that. And so I was in the circle, and I was kind of looking around, and over to my right, I noticed something jet black. I mean, it was black, and and it was it was about 40 to 50 yards away from us, and it was just floating across the by the tents and stuff, just like, I mean, he wasn't bobbing or nothing. I mean, I would say it was probably a teenage squatch, uh, just venturing out of curiosity. Uh, Knowing what I know now, looking back to those days, but yeah, and of course, I got asked to dance, and and so I kind of lost track of it after that. But anyway, the and of course I asked one of the elders there, asked them who that was, and they said, "Oh, it's just one of our hairy neighbors that pops in every once in a while." Uh, so so after that, so basically after that, I kind of, there wasn't any information out there on this thing, and and so I just kind of brushed it off, and then about 3 or 4 years later, my brother takes me hog hunting somewhere down south. I can't remember whereabouts, but I think it's on the Sabine bottom somewhere. And and of course there was me and my brother and two of his friends uh, going down there. Well, anyway, we went 2 miles one way and they went 2 miles the other way. Um, well, anyway, my brother kind of told me that if he shot and he misses, that I needed to run as fast as I could because the wild boars would chase us. So anyway, while I was running, my brother was behind me, and like I said, the other two was completely opposite direction. So while I was running, I was down at the bottom of the hill running. Well, there was this really tall bipedal figure running parallel to me at the top of the hill. Well, uh, like I said, if you ever ran with a shotgun or rifle, and it gets heavy. Well, I dropped the thing, and because I could move faster without it. And well, I never had to get off the ground. My brother finally caught up to me and told me that I could quit running now. Well, I glanced back up the hill to see if I could see that figure. Uh, Now it was, if you've ever been in the bottoms of river bottoms and it's cloudy early in the morning, it's hard to tell the color of animals unless you're just right up on them. So, but that figure, it was solid color, and if it would have been wearing clothing like another person, I could have I could have distinguished the the difference between it being a Sasquatch or a person. And but this, whatever this was, it had to be guesstimating, picturing it from uh, years ago. It probably had to be in your 7 to 9, 10 foot range. Uh, so, of course, not knowing anything about these people, I like to call them people. Um, uh, I didn't really think much of it, and of course, my brother, he's kind of a skeptic type person, so I didn't say nothing. And outside, I just asked the other two guys if they ever came looking for us, to kind of get some verification there if they might have been up at the top of the hill, and I could kind of rule out, it being one of them. But anyway, I uh, I I never thought much more about it, um, and and so until I guess the summer between 75, 76, and and I worked at a grocery store. Um, I worked at, I don't know if you're familiar, Joe, with Brookshire's.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, I worked for one of the stores there in Longview, Texas. Well, where I had my close encounter, it was just a half to a mile outside of the city limits of Longview, Texas, going towards Kilgore on, I believe, 259. If it's still called 259, I don't know. uh, I haven't been back there in probably, I think last time I was there, it's about 10 years ago when my father passed away, and I had to go to the funeral. But that was the last time I was there. And but anyway, I got up early that morning. It was it was the Wednesday after my birthday. Uh, my birthday was on the 9th of July, and I uh, got a new fishing pole with a rod and reel, and so I love to go fishing. So, and majority of my encounters are around fishing,
The water.
and so yeah, around the water, and and so therefore I got up at 4 o'clock. I said I'm gonna get out there before daylight, and I was going to Of course, Sabine, they has all kinds of species of fish. So you're not sure what you're going to catch. You may catch catfish, you may catch a bass, crappie, stripers, whatever else, uh, brown, uh, perch, whatever y'all want to call it. So it's kind of, but anyway, I went down and made a U-turn because you had to go down past it, make a U-turn, come back, and then get off the off road. And then I went all the way as far as I could on the road back towards the river. Now in that part of the Sabine River, I think it's only like 4 or 5 foot wide. It's not the widest part. It's one of the smallest parts of the Sabine River, uh, unless it floods, and then it's out of banks. But I grabbed my stuff, I grabbed my coffee, and got out, and I proceeded down down towards the sandy bank, and so as I come over this little hill to go down the slope, uh, I see this figure down there squatted down, and I think I stopped it 10, 12 foot from it, not being fully awake, and it's sun not up yet. I kind of, uh, I was going to, I started to ask what I thought was a person if he was having any luck. Well, once my eyes focused and saw this thing had maybe 3 inch, somewhere around 3 inch long hair on it, which was reddish brown. It had a conical head. It didn't have no neck at all. And it was your typical 4.5 foot wide shoulders. And it was just squatted there he was looking down at the water. I never did get to see its face. Uh, I wasn't that brave at that time. Uh, so so I kind of took my eyes off of it and kind of looked over towards the bridge that goes over the river to see if there was any spots over there that I could fish. Well, after looking back at it, the sun started coming up, and the more and more I focused on it, it became a little. I came a little, I guess you call it uneasy, kind of. Once I figured out this thing was not a person like us, that it was something else that I'm not familiar with. And so, right, and I just kind of froze there for a minute and I set my stuff down, and I kept sipping my my coffee, excuse me. And then finally I started getting this really odd feeling, and of course it's what what a lot of people call zapping, that type of thing. It kind of hit me with the infrasound type thing. I started feeling sick, uh, sickish, and all that kind of stuff, uh, and so I decided it was time to. After a few minutes, it was time to back out and go back home,
Well,
and
Jenny just chimed
and
in.
kind of
I wanted to ask you, did you notice any classic signs of like bad smells, footprints, anything like that?
bad smell. No, I was upwind from him, so I assume it was a him. Uh, uh, but I knew it, like I said, and I hope I don't offend anybody. But you could see his butt crack.
That's not offensive. It's funny.
You have any idea what he
That
might have been doing
that's how
squatted down
close
by
I
the?
was. That's how close I was.
Do you know what he might have
So
been
you
doing?
know,
Washing his hands or getting fish out of there, maybe.
do what, Joe? I didn't hear you.
Do you have any idea what he was doing squatted down by that water? You think maybe looking for fish or washing his hands or just messing with the water, maybe?
That's kind of what I, looking back, that's kind of what I was thinking he was doing. He was either washing his hands or trying to catch a fish, uh, something to that nature.
Yeah.
Or as another researcher has said, maybe he was just squatted there meditating. Uh, uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, me being human and that thing not being human, uh, uh, like me, he was he was definitely bigger than I was, and I didn't want to have any confrontation with it. So that that's why I decided it was time to back out. And like I said, that's
So
the that's the only time that uh, trying to adjust my phone here, put me back in the center. Uh, and so that was my closest,
right.
and
And how close did you actually get to him?
like I said, tip, huh?
So how close did you actually get to him?
No, uh, I
It's so hard to hear. There's a
Yeah,
little bit of a
I
delay.
mean,
yeah. No, I asked about how far away were you from him?
how far away from my truck was I?
No, no, to the Bigfoot.
Sorry.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 10 feet.
Okay. Um,
No further than 15 feet.
that's
You know,
that's pretty
I
close.
wasn't face to face.
Like a
So
Give
I
me a
kind
second.
of,
My son's coming in. One second.
and like as far as like the infrasound stuff, how long were those effects? Did you feel those effects?
a lot of the effects kind of, once I left the area in my truck, uh, a lot of the effects, uh, kind of diminished the further away I got, the closer to town I got. Uh, uh,
Sorry
but
about
of
that.
course, the head. I still had a headache. I still had a headache a few minutes uh, into the day. So, and then it finally went away towards the end of the day. I finally got rid of it. I'm glad because I didn't want to have a headache when I went to work the next day.
So, do you think
And
sleeping helped you with that effect? 'Cause I always hear that people say they gotta sometimes go to sleep and almost let your body reset when it comes to that.
um, I never felt. I never felt. Apparently, he didn't hit me with a full dose of infrasound. He hit me with a light, um, just enough to make me uncomfortable.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard people say they've got hit a lot worse than I did,
Right. Right.
and 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 just from the slight dose that I've got, it if they hit me with a full dose, I don't know what would have happened. Uh, uh, like I said, I can speculate, but I don't want to do that. But you know, I've always dreamed of what would have happened if I would have just moved down upriver from him and started fishing, whether he would have stayed there or what. Or if I would have moved up right next to him and started fishing, what would his reaction would have been? But that's stuff that didn't happen. So the fact is that I got as close to it as I wanted to be, and it was time to back out of there
Yeah.
and get home away from it and kind of let my mind soak it all in the meantime. And of course, the following year, The Legend of Boggy Creek came out, and and of course, I think me and my cousin was at the theater all day, mostly watching the movie over and over and over. And I finally reached over and told him, I said, I seen one of these, and he looked at me like, no way. And I said, yeah, down on the Sabine River. And so and then the Patterson Gimlin came out, and the Legend of Bog Creek, and then it uh, more and more shows came out from then. So
Do you
and
ever bring
and
your
of
lady
course,
friend with you? Do your wife
at
or
that
your
time
girlfriend?
I didn't have a lady friend.
I mean, now when you go out,
No,
does she go with you? No, this isn't your
no,
time.
she's disabled. She's
No, bless her.
disabled, so I can't.
Then-
So I usually have to go by myself. So
Right.
uh, and like I said, most of my experience now, I'm I'm a part of an independent Bigfoot research group that goes south of me about an hour and a half into a state park. They have been researching there in that state park for going on 5, 6, 7 years, I think,
Right.
and they have had a lot of encounters of course, due to the virus thing going on.
Yeah.
I hadn't been this year yet, or last year. I got to say last year now. So uh, I went I went to my one of my fishing spots about a month ago, If you're not a member of my group, you probably hadn't seen the picture yet. I wish I'd have sent you that picture to post. But there's this big 5 inch, 7 inch. I couldn't get close enough to get a better diameter of it, balanced in the top of a tall tree. Well, I went fishing, but the wind kicked up and started white capping and all that, and I threw my line out a few times. The only thing I saw was 3 or 4 water moccasins sticking their heads up out of the water, and so
Mm-mm.
I decided my fishing was not going to be too good that day.
Yeah.
So I decided it was maybe I'll just drive down this dirt road and back into the wooded area and do a little taking pictures and noticing stuff and try to notice. Uh, it was a conservationist land, uh, and so that's what I did. I just drove away. I'd get out, walk into the woods a little bit, and just kind of take pictures with my phone. I usually when I go fishing, I don't take my camera with me, and and then and and the one thing that somebody told me to do is take random pictures. A lot of times when you take random pictures, you will catch them off guard. And well, I'm going through the pictures still now, but I haven't seen anything. People has told me they've seen figures. Of course, y'all heard of some people bring up cloaking and stuff of that nature. I'm sure Shannon, you're more familiar with the cloaking, with being on the paranormal side. Um, uh, but me, I stick with the physical belief that they breathe, eat, get sick, die, and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not into I guess what you can say, the paranormal side of Bigfoot.
Yeah, I think some people
I'm
call it
just
the woo,
not.
right?
Yeah, I'm not into the woo side of uh, the topic. So
Hey, what? Can
uh,
you say what name of
I'm not saying
what
it
part
doesn't
of
happen.
somebody wanted to know what part of Missouri? I don't know.
Uh,
It's up to you.
it's uh, I don't mind saying it. It's a Bennett Springs trout. Uh, it's it's if you take 65 south, it's it's about an hour away from Springfield, and it's about an hour and a half from me. So, uh, and then you got to turn off another highway to go back to it, and so it's down towards the Lake of Ozarks, uh, back off in that direction. Uh, if you, uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, it's definitely hilly and rocky, and so so for me to look for footprints, it would be hard. it would have to be very heavy to make a footprint in the ground there. Um,
If
the first
somebody
year
else
I
had a
went,
question.
now the first year I was there,
We're talking about the like cloaking and stuff like that, which I don't believe that they do either. But someone else had a question about: do you think Bigfoot is an interdimensional being? Dimensional being.
uh, I didn't hear that. Could you put it up on the screen, Joe?
Here we go.
Hi, Michelle.
Uh, I, Michelle, like I said, I don't know. That's one of them I'm on the fence on. I can't, I haven't seen it happen, so it's hard for me uh, to be on board with that. I'm not saying it don't happen. Uh, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying that it's never happened to me. And so, in fact, I don't even recall seeing a UFO. Uh, okay, okay, okay. Just got word we got a house fire close to us.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm going to have to bug out.
Okay. Yeah.
oh
Take
man.
care of yourself. Take care of yourself,
Um,
Yeah.
Steve.
Hope everything's okay.
okay. Well, I appreciate you having me on, Joe, and
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do it some other time.
maybe we can do it again sometime.
Okay, buddy.
It's nice to meet you. Sorry I'm all sniffly today, but it was
It was
nice to
nice
meet you.
meeting you, Shannon.
Okay. I guess it's just me and you, Shannon, for a little bit. Anybody want to come on? Mike Cardenas. I've never talked to you.
Yeah, come on, Mike. Pop on.
Let me send you a link.
I was going to talk to you about that anyways, Joe.
Oh. you know what? And I already knew you would. I already knew you
I'm
would.
always
I already.
like, I
Can I do
gotta,
this? You're like a little kid. Like think of a
I
little kid.
know.
Can I do
Daddy,
this? Can I do this?
can
Yeah.
somebody?
Hey, you know what? Yeah, you're right, Michelle. We hope everything's good with Steve. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'll contact him later on today.
Bless his
Uh,
heart.
yeah. Good dude. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he seems like, he reminds me of my grandfather from years back.
Yeah, we got a few minutes we can kill here.
All right,
Not to
Mike's
get
getting his
long.
laptop. Goodness gracious. Sorry I had to leave the room. My son was at the door.
No, you're good.
So that was, and it was an excuse to blow my nose. So it's like, this is ridiculous. So, what are you doing for the rest of the weekend, Joe? You going back out in the woods or?
Um, I might if tomorrow works out for me, I'll be with you know
Yeah, that other
if
plans.
tomorrow works
Gotcha.
out. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens tomorrow. But
I'm just excited. Phoenix is flying in. She's probably just landed and she's going to get home to her house. And then we're all meeting up at Goatman's Bridge with Bella and Daniel and Tiffany. And then Bella's bringing her daughter and Daniel's bringing his son. They're like little junior investigators. So it'll be fun out there. Just have a good time.
is that your phone or my phone beeping?
Oh, there's no telling. It's probably mine. It's probably mine. Man, I watched so many podcasts last night. I was so thoroughly entertained. And
Mm-hmm.
the last one I watched was the Paranormal People.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. I was laughing. So I'm gonna have to make it a habit on Fridays to do that. Oh, and then by myself. Joe, you there? Oh, he's probably queuing in Mike. So yeah, all the podcasts were great last night. Thanks for the entertainment. David Childers, you cracked me up as usual. Um, that's the reason I'm a co-host and not a host because this isn't my thing. Okay, there he is. Hello.
All
I
right,
was
good
like,
day,
there's a
guys.
reason I'm a co-host and not a host because that's
You
funny.
said Michelle wrote.
Oh, I know. I don't have any honey right now, but that's a good idea. When I get out to go do whatever I'm doing tonight, at Gutman's Bridge, I'm gonna stop and get something. I might actually stop and get a hot toddy, honestly.
A hot hottie. What you saying?
A hot toddy,
Oh,
just like go have them warm up, maybe like just a little bit of whiskey and put some honey and lemon in there. That should probably zap it. But so, Michelle, I was talking to Michelle about, I don't know if Michelle, let me know if you got that message I sent you about what we're doing in the woods in Louisiana in February. It's just going to be fun. And I did verify with Chris Owen that there's plenty of land out there for tents. Hey, Denise, how are
hey
you?
Denise.
We're
Thank you
kind
for
of ad
joining.
libbing over here today.
Yeah, our guest had to bell on us momentarily, or not momentarily, but at least
Yeah.
for the rest of this show. So we're just kind of yeah.
So, did you get hold of Mike?
I sent the link to the group chat, so
Okay. See
yeah,
who all pops on.
yeah. So if anybody wants to pop on,
Yeah, I'll message him now.
okay.
Yeah, that was fun. Michelle. Okay.
Let me see what she wrote. Okay, he said he's joining.
Sweet.
Michelle said, I would love to, but it would be hard to bring a tent on a plane.
You're in the South over here. We all got tents where we have access
Yeah,
to them.
yeah.
I'm like, girl. And see. Yeah, we're doing the a booked Hill House Manor, and I'm only selling the tickets for $40. I have 10. I'm only booking 10 spots, and there's a well like literally in the middle of the living room downstairs, and I've got some crazy stuff. There he is. What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm freaking tired. How about you guys?
Tired too.
Sinusy allergies.
Oh yeah, my
I
nephew,
I
he's
think you
upset
listen to the
because
show, actually. Every time you come on, your nose is running.
I know. That's what I was like. I was like, I don't know what it is, Joe. I'm allergic to you. I guess it's crazy. But this time of year, though, it's just gonna get to me, and having a cat in the house that gets to me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was talking to Joe just now about yeah, I was gonna talk to you about that having Mike on. He's
not
like, we talked about it the other night. So, but what have you been up to, Mike? What's new?
much, man. Did y'all see my guest last night, man? He was amazing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed having Barry on, man. He told me how long is the show gonna be. I said about 45 minutes, and he just spoke the whole time like nonstop. I was like, hell yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, see? I tell people that all the time. I mean, if you come on the show and you talk and I don't get a word in, I don't care. I'm fine with
Right.
it. You know?
He dropped some interesting information about a lot of things, and I'm just like listening. I'm like, okay, I like this guy. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yay, I want to go there. Michelle was telling me about that place, Denise. Yeah, I definitely want to try that place out and go investigate there.
Yeah, if you guys get a chance, Will Jennings, I was did his podcast before I did this one, and he has a really interesting story. Witness does, and so I was on that. I actually went out to the woods this morning to go and investigate and do some researching and do some scouting because I'm going to go out there and next weekend. So it was a very good encounter, very scary encounter. The guy was really shaken up. Um, I don't want to give away too much. Like I said, it's Will's podcast, which is called Creek Devil. Um, yeah, the guy we were out there and he saw the shimmering on the brush from the creek. There's a creek right there, so the sun was shining, and he saw the shimmering back. He jumped back. It freaked him out, and then a squirrel ran across the road, and he freaked out again. Yeah, but I mean, this is from the encounter that he had back in November, and it still messes with him. He tells me he still has nightmares, and uh, yeah, he's definitely a lot more jumpy, you know.
And this is like about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you get into that?
I've always been into it since I was a little kid. You know, I've always been into
Right.
it. You know, and actually, my neighbor who worked with my dad, and I grew up with his kids. He would talk about UFOs, paranormal, Bigfoot, all that kind of stuff growing up. And we used to, they lived like across the street from us, so we would go over there and um, he would tell us scary stories, and we at the end of the night we'd run back across the
Right.
street because we were scared. You know.
Wow. I wish we had that here in Texas, man. I mean, I would jump on that, but we don't have that kind of stuff here.
Yeah, we do. We got Bigfoot here in Texas.
Really?
Yes, that's why I live in Texas. You didn't know about
I
Texas?
mean, maybe when I don't shave, maybe I look like Bigfoot, but
What part do you live in?
in San Antonio.
Dude, Palmetto State Park, the Hill Country.
Listen, we
You
had
know, you know, Converse has its own animal, the Converse werewolf.
I heard about that. My one of
Yeah.
my good buddies, Eddie Hill, man. Shout out to him, Paranormal Analytical. He is heavy into that stuff, and he's always talking about that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, no. The only incident I ever heard of Bigfoot or here in San Antonio, there was a dispatch
The
recording
911 tape, bro.
of a woman calling in saying that there was someone running around the woods, and she saw this tall looking person, and she just shot him. Boom. She's like, so either it was someone in a suit, or it was an actual Bigfoot, but they're probably dead out there. I was like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I've been to Palmetto State Park. It's had sightings. I used to live in Universal City.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so I live right there.
nice.
I loved it over there too, dude. And I like Mike already. I can read till I can talk shit to him a little bit. He'd be okay, you know. Yeah, but yeah, man, dude. I was in Sam Houston Park this morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Sam Houston State Forest. I don't know if you know where that's at. It's a little bit north of Houston.
Okay,
Then you have the Davy Crockett, which is north of that. It's like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from Houston. You have the Sour Lake area, like kind of got in the Beaumont area. I don't know if you're familiar with that area.
I've never been there before, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's like an hour east of Houston. Yeah, man.
Mhm.
There's plenty of places down here, man. If you ever want to come down and check it out, shit, man, you're
Dude,
welcome.
my one of my investigators, Goggles, his name's Robert. He before joining NPS, he called himself a monster hunter. Like he loves the cryptozoology stuff, and he'd always go look for that kind of stuff.
Cool, man. Yeah, you guys are welcome anytime you want to come. I'll be out next weekend for sure.
Nice.
I have a curiosity about all of it. I've never had been around anyone that was into it, I guess. And so now that I'm starting to be introduced to it, I definitely want to just go for the thrill of the hunt, really, honestly. So make Joe take me out there.
Yeah.
Like, shut
Dude,
Tomorrow
up,
we'll
that'd
have
be so crazy.
tomorrow we'll have her name's Mary. She's from the Pennsylvania area, and we'll have her on. She'll talk Bigfoot with us too.
Dude, that would be so crazy to be face to face with. And let me ask you a question. If let's say without capturing one, right? If you were face to face and you were able to somehow communicate with it, what would be a question you would ask?
Okay, I don't know. I've never been asked that question. That's a good question because what would I
Like,
ask it?
like let's say that somehow, like let's say,
I
you
would
know,
probably think, "Don't kill me" before I would ask it. Like, "Don't kill me." Um, I don't know. I don't know what I would ask a Bigfoot. Like, probably the same thing they'd be asking me. What the hell are you doing here?
right.
You know. Uh,
Dude, that would be so crazy, man. Just to be face to face with one man and
yeah.
be so vulnerable. Like, is this dude about to like just roll me right here, or what's
Well,
gonna happen?
it's happened. I've known several people that it's happened to. Um, yeah, there was a guy in Florida. He was running. He was trying to scare his kids, so he ran through the forest. He was going to catch them on the other side, and he thought he ran into a tree. Yeah,
Right.
ran head on into it. But
One question I would love to ask a lot of people who've supposedly caught evidence of Bigfoot. Um, One thing I've noticed a lot is, and this is just me personally, is you always see like, let's say he's like, I mean, miles away, and he's like on a hillside, and they have a camera that's like going like this the whole time. Like if
yeah,
they're shaking the camera, and I'm like, you never heard of a tripod? Like set it down on a tripod, and like just try to zoom as much as you can. But I always notice that the camera footage is like if it's like moving like this,
well,
I'm like,
when you're out in the woods, even when you're on a trail, you don't have, setting your camera down and putting a tripod there
right,
it's not really the easiest thing. And then you got to hold
right,
something, it's like these bird watchers, they travel all over the country to get a bird.
right.
and they'll tell you every single time. As soon as they see this bird, they get the camera up, the damn thing takes off. You know.
Right, right,
So
right.
it's kind of the same thing. I would say.
Everybody's got their hobbies, I guess, huh?
Yeah. You know. I say that because I knew a friend of mine. He was actually big in the bird watching community. He traveled all over the country,
Right.
and he would tell me, he goes, man, you can get this perfect shot of this bird, and by the time you get your camera up, the damn thing would flap its wings, and you see this blue blur, red blur, whatever color bird that was, and you can tell
Right.
somebody this is the bird. It's a bird. It's a blob bird or something like the blob squatch.
So do you think there's a connection between like UFO stuff, Bigfoot, or cryptozoology and paranormal? You think there's a connection there?
I don't think so. I think a lot of that is just coincidence. I'm not going to say that it doesn't occur or
Right.
it doesn't happen. I just don't think it happens as much as people think. But
Right.
I think it's just for the most part it's a coincidence. And this is something I've talked about on other shows. I think certain areas just draw that for whatever reason.
Mm, interesting.
And so that would be cool, Denise. I see what you said about REM pods and K2 meters and stuff like that. That would be cool and interesting. And
Yeah, and and I'm all up for people using their experience and their techniques, no matter what field that they're in, to come and and try them out. I mean, it can't hurt. That
well, we talked
What's-
about doing that before, doing doing a Bigfoot and a paranormal investigation at the same time in one night. That would be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and I think
It would be.
that's a lot of what Bigfoot also gets. I don't know if you want to call it misidentification or necessarily, but I think a lot of stuff that happens out there that is paranormal, Bigfoot gets labeled with it.
Right.
Because I do think that there are paranormal stuff that goes on in the woods. Because I mean, people die everywhere.
Right. Right. That would be interesting, man. I would love to just be face to face with one and just see what happens, man. Just make sure the camera's rolling, put it on me, and let me do what I have to do.
Yeah, maybe they'll find your GoPro.
Right?
The SD card, maybe.
Hey, gotta take one for the team.
Hey, well, I'll. You know what? We go out there and I'll put a shirt on you that says bait and let you run wild out there, and I'll film it.
That would be so freaking cool.
This is for science.
Oh my goodness, my nose is so runny.
Thanks, Denise, for tuning in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Denise, you're awesome. Oh, by the way, Denise, I need to get a mailing address for you guys. I got I had something made for your wedding gift, and I need to get that to you guys to get it shipped off. So, didn't know who to ask.
You know, a fun fact. Before I became a paranormal investigator, when I was a kid, I had this infatuation with wanting to be a tornado chaser, like this, this
Yeah.
weather person who goes out with the cameras and studies the tornadoes. And then one day here in San Antonio, we never really get tornadoes or anything. And one day I was living by this base called Kelly Air Force Base, and you can hear on the speakers, a tornado has touched down, in this part of the field. I got so scared because I was outside hearing this, and I changed my mind so fast. I was like, I would never do this.
Where's
Not for
Kelly
me.
at?
Say again?
Where's Kelly?
It's on the south side of San Antonio, like near Bynum and Military Drive. It's like right near the south side of San Antonio.
That's Lackland, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Lackland, and then when you go further down Military
okay.
Drive, it becomes Kelly Air Force Base.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been to Lackland and I've been to Randolph several times.
Right. Yeah.
Have I
And see
ever had
where
any
Kelly's at, or I don't know if it's Kelly anymore because I know they didn't change changes, but where they fixed those big old Boeing planes or whatever they are in that vicinity, that's where it's at.
Now, James, as far as like a visual, I've never had a full on visual, but I've definitely seen some flashes of fur. I've seen two big hairy legs one day in the very corner of a flashlight. How the flashlight has that, gets rounded off. I saw two hairy legs. I had stuff thrown at me, seen eye shine, heard growls, vocals. The one growl I heard was almost demonic sounding, and it hit me right in the chest.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
time to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what got that response was a friend of mine that told me to take a dog whistle out there. He goes, "Yeah, man, I take a dog whistle with me." He lives up north. I take a dog whistle with me, and when I blow on it, I'll get vocalizations back. This wasn't a vocalization that I wanted. It was a growl that hit me right in the chest, and I was with two other guys, and we all heard it. We actually got a recording somewhere. I think Shane still has that recording. It's a pretty. It was scary.
Mm. Oh goodness. So,
Yeah.
so, Mike, what are you doing in February?
Oh my gosh, man. I know in February something cool really happened here in San Antonio. There's a place called the Black Swan Inn, and the owner there, Miss Joanne, she actually reached out to myself and my team, and she told me there's a new team that's up and coming, new. They're just new to the field, and they're of course paying to go investigate the Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
Right.
And she's like, I told him, yes, you can go investigate whatever, but since you're just brand spanking new, it'd be nice to have somebody who can, go with you guys and work with you guys and show you the basics. So she's like, I know a lot of teams, Mike, but I feel like you and your team would be good to step up and help them. And I was like, that's an honor. I'm definitely willing to show them the ropes. And so we're gonna go out there. I forget what date it's gonna be next month. I gotta go check, but it's gonna be cool to go work with this team one on one and just show them some stuff and see.
Mentor, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool in Yorktown.
Well, say in the weekend of Valentine's Day, there's about 20 of us grabbing some tents and headed out to the woods in Louisiana, and there's a homestead lost in the woods back there,
Yeah,
and
that's wild.
we're gonna have bonfires, cookouts. I mean, from all Friday night and Saturday, we're going. David Childers has an event at the museum there, the Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum. So that'll be
Right.
that evening, but then we'll go back to the campground and some more drinks,
Nice.
bonfire, camping out, and then the next day on Valentine's, when everybody heads out, stop at the kill site where they got shot, ambush.
Wow.
So it's just, I mean, it's already booked up for the museum part, but that's only
Right.
a 4 or 5 hour, deal. But everything else is free. You just pitch in as far as bringing meat and bring your own tent and stuff like that, and they
Right,
have
right, right.
wood.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
I'll send you some videos of these woods. It's awesome. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
and
amazing.
it looks like I'll actually be able to make that now because remember I told you because of this incident with the Bigfoot thing,
yeah,
I was gonna use that time to go out there and investigate. Well, now with the COVID stuff, I got 3 of my coworkers out, so I'm having to work more, and so I probably won't be able to take that time off of my job other than the weekend. So
whatever.
So I'll be able to make it.
It's
Dude, this
something
COVID
might pop
is
up.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's a lot of really cool people that are going to be there, and I'll send you I'll message you in the videos that they got in the woods. It's insane. This old homestead. There was a factory that was poisoning the water supply.
Oh
And so, like,
wow.
people died off or moved away, and it just completely grew over the road. Just all of a sudden is gone, and it grew over. And there's like, it's so old back there that there's trees grown up in front of the front doors. But it
Oh
is
wow.
creepy. There's multiple structures out there, multiple ones, and so and it's walking distance from where we're gonna be camping. So
Right.
it's just gonna be fun. And
Dude, that sounds crazy as hell. That's crazy, yeah.
yeah, wait till you see the videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I'll send you that and let you know who's gonna be there if you're interested.
Right. That'd be so cool. Yeah,
Like I said,
definitely.
I'll probably be able to make that trip after all. Then, so
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's gonna be fun. I'm telling you, it's gonna be epic. It's Parafest 2021.
Right. That's
We're gonna
pretty
make it
cool.
happen. Bonfires and campgrounds. Yep.
Right.
and
Good.
who are you with, Mike? Your group?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the founder of Midnight Paranormal Society here in San Antonio.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yeah, I've been investigating since 2008.
Alright.
And it's been a like a roller coaster journey, but it's definitely been worth it. I love it. I love what I do.
Cool, man. Yeah, I give it a shout out. Yeah. Well, I guess we're about done on time here, Shannon. You have anything you want to add?
Just glad to be back on air with you guys. I mean, I love hanging out with you, Joe, even though it's on air. But you're my buddy,
Yes, ma'am.
my friend, and yeah, definitely. I'll chit chat with you later too, Mike. And
All right,
thanks
sounds
everyone
good, guys.
I just hope everything's okay with Steve and his
Yeah.
house, with the fire and stuff like that. So,
Cool beans.
but
All right, guys. Well, y'all hold on real quick. I'm going to end the show. Thanks everyone for joining, and thanks everyone in the chat room. Again, you guys are always awesome, and you guys have great questions. I like that. You guys are always interactive with us, so we appreciate that very
Yeah, it was
much.
an interesting show this time.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay. All
It
right.
was fun.